Welcome back to Tarot by the Bay. I'm David. Okay, recording this in the early afternoon on July 23rd. For those of you who tuned into Hogarth's channel, thank you very much. Although it's 3 hours, 4 hours before I'm on it, I want to thank you for watching the Hogarth's Dr. Lena, Johnny, and myself presentation. I'm sure it was a riot. I'm looking forward to it. Hasn't happened to me yet, but it's now in the past. Time is confusing. Okay. Ghislaine Maxwell. Ms. Maxwell. I hate trying to pronounce her name because I butcher it. Has offered to testify in front of Congress regarding what she knows about Jeffrey Epstein. MAGA certainly wants this. The Democrats want this. And apparently a certain group of Republicans wants this. Why is that, you ask? Under the Desk News was reporting this earlier today. I caught her on TikTok. And I want to give credit to her because this is not my original thinking. This is what she's reporting on, and I'm just sharing that info with you. Apparently, one of the things the GOP and Congress are considering doing is offering Ghislaine Maxwell the opportunity to testify in front of Congress, committees in Congress. And right now they're considering commuting her sentence. Now remember, a difference between a pardon and a commutation. Pardon means that you've forgiven the crime. Commuting means that you can change the duration of the sentence. You could commute the whole sentence. So it's like she was sentenced for 20 years. If they commute the sentence for the full 20 years, she could be free to go to like the day after the commutation is signed. She's done. It's like whatever time you serve, it's basically like saying you are sentenced now to time served. You can leave now. If you are pardoned, you cannot plead the fifth. If you are commuted, you have to, so pardoned, you have to answer the questions. Commuted, you could still not answer those. So she could plead the fifth if she was commuted. So additionally, with the commutation, they want to give her immunity so that she won't plead the fifth because she can't be charged with new crimes. Talking about taking the one person who's been found guilty of sex trafficking all these girls and then saying, well, we're not going to hold you accountable for it anymore. Slap on the wrist, which is exactly what Epstein got 20-something years ago in Florida. And if they do that, commute her sentence and give her immunity, she can't be held for perjury. Well, I imagine the immunity is that as long as she doesn't lie, as long as she's telling the truth. How much of a curated truth are we going to get? Because it may not be the whole truth. And they can't retry her because of double jeopardy. This would be the best thing of all worlds to keep things quiet. And then Ms. Maxwell could sort of testify about, the Bill Clintons, the Bill Gateses, the George Soroses of the world, and never mention anything about Trump or Republicans. That's why they would want to go this route, because they can spin it that it's all Democrats that were on this list and no Republicans. That sort of thing. Will Ms. Maxwell go that route? We don't know. But that's what they're trying to do. So, to me, if they put her in front of there, I do not want to see that combo, that 1-2 punch. Because it doesn't necessarily mean that she will be honest during her testimony. And the other part that was put out there, again, by Under the Desk News, is what about the victims? The victims may be willing to testify, put them in front of Congress, and they can start naming the Johns, because it looks like Congress is not interested, and the Department of Justice is not interested in holding the Johns, the men raping these girls, accountable. The girls can tell you who they were. By the way, Ms. Maxwell's attorney is Alan Dershowitz, who's also been accused of participating in shenanigans. This is the dude that was getting the massage from a 13 or 14-year-old girl, but he kept his underwear on. And that led to all sorts of conversations from CMTs out there regarding the appropriateness of that. Okay, so I want to look at Ghislaine Maxwell and her offering to testify. What's the energy around her? And then we're going to look at Congress and the authentic nature of their offer, what they may put out there. Entertainment purposes only. Ghislaine Maxwell, what's the energy around you as you're asking for this? We got the King of Swords. She may bring it. If she's going to tell, she's going to tell. Crossed with the Four of Cups. So I think she's offering to spill the beans, but she's not been given, but only if she gets the offer that she wants, which would probably be commutation and immunity to speak freely. Underneath it all, it's the Seven of Wands, the negotiation here. So I was watching another TikTok where a body language expert was watching her. She's stressing out in prison. Go figure. She's a socialite, not an inmate, but she's an inmate now. And maybe there's also concern that if she talks, you've got to give her a good offer so that she helps your side get your message across. In the past, you got the Five of Swords. She lost her court case. She was sent to prison, and then Trump wished her well in prison because, it's like the warm wishes on a condolences. He wished her well in prison. So she got her 20-year sentence, and then the Johns get off scot-free. She may be really angry about that. Current situation is the Hangman. She feels like she was sacrificed. She was thrown under the bus for stuff that Epstein did. Now, she helped in it. She absolutely was held accountable for it, but she was thrown under the bus. Her testimony could certainly bring a new perspective on this. Overarching energy is the Three of Wands. She wants out. She wants out. She wants to leave the country. She wants to go back to France or wherever she's from and just, get out. She wants out of prison. She wants out of the country. She wants her old life back, however that looks. The lesson to be learned is the Queen of Wands. Internal intentions on what you're going to do going forward here. She certainly could bring down a lot of men with her testimony. But her testimony, if too brutal, could bring her down too. So she's kind of weighing her options on how she wants to go forward. Outcome is the King of Wands, taking action. Thinking about the action, taking the action on here. One clarifier on the King of Wands. What action is she taking? Talking about the action. It's got the whole freaking court here. And integrity. It could be lies and deceit, only sharing certain things, but integrity. Prison can change people. She's not been in there very long, and she certainly doesn't like it. And she might be taking the attitude of a woman scorned. So this could be something where the Republicans offer her a sweetheart deal, expecting that she's going to play ball with them, and she may not play ball. That just doesn't, forgive me if it seems cynical, but it's like, okay, we'll let you out, but, you tell the truth, okay? That only the Democrats and the Democratic social elites and the Hollywood elites were doing that, right? Type of thing. That's what we expect there to be. And I'm sure that's what the Republicans in charge would want. Give me the energy around the GOP as they discuss offering Ghislaine Maxwell a deal to testify in front of a congressional committee. What's the energy around them? Ten of Coins, money and legacy. Money and legacy crossed with practicality. Also women and children. And the victory. Okay, so they're worried about their legacy. They're the socialite. Maybe if we throw enough money, a good enough offer on her, she'll play ball. We'll get out of this. I do not see this as being we want to preserve our legacy for protecting women and children and be champions of that. Wouldn't that be amazing? That is not what I'm seeing, though. How can we win with this? This woman holds all the secrets. We need to take action. Okay, so that on Ghislaine Maxwell's card, this was the outcome, the King of Wands. This is them sitting in the beat. Basically, this is this has been my Attorney General, Department of Justice card. So maybe the DOJ is going to have to come up with the deal here. Overarching energy is the Five of Cups, the disappointment. They may not be able to get the DOJ to give everything that they wanted to do this. They may not get it, or the testimony may not be what they want. There's some disappointment here. Information's coming out, and things are going to be revealed about the government and people in the government. Yeah, they're not in a good spot because of their supporters. They want this thing to go away, but they can't. They just can't. So how they're looking for a path forward to keep their positions in government. They're stuck. They are stuck with this. And again, because the GOP is not a House United, because they have different agendas. And they have their different opinions on how to proceed with this. So that's why in a previous reading I did with Mike Johnson that went up at around 1 o'clock, between 12:30 and 1 o'clock today. There's chaos and pandemonium underneath there because there's chaos and pandemonium in Congress amongst the GOP. To be a fly on the wall to see the meetings and just watching people screaming at each other on that side would be amazing. Given the current energy and whatever deal Ghislaine gets, will she be an honest, truthful, forthright witness to what happened? 4 cards. What's that energy going to be like? 5 of coins, being left out in the cold. We had that hangman before, like the being thrown on the bus. Judgment. 5 of cups, disappointment. The tower, oof. And the agreement. There's an agreement here, maybe to exclude some people from being excluded, but I think she's gonna spill a lot of tea. Maybe not all the tea, but a lot of the tea. 5 of Cups, disappointment. There's transition cards here. Again, she may, as I talk about spilling tea, here's the tea that's spilled, but there's some tea that's left up. You've got Judgment and Tower. What she does let out there is going to be a Tower moment for the people that she spills the tea on. But it's not even going to look good for those who maybe she's trying to protect. The 2 Cups agreement. The 2 Cups agreement. It could be folks on both sides. The blue and the red are spared, but many are not. I think, generally speaking, she will reveal more names than she doesn't reveal. But it's going to be both sides are protected. Probably because she needs some allies to protect her so that she doesn't fall out of a 10-story window anytime soon. And you have to name both sides, right? Because if you only name the Democrats, then it's going to be real obvious that you were hiding information. So you've got to throw some Republicans out there too. Maybe the most powerful, dangerous ones don't get named, but many, many will. At least as the energy sits now with whatever offer she gets. What about the victims? Will the victims be allowed? Will the victims ever? I shouldn't say ever get in front of Congress, but with this current Congress, will the victims also get to testify in front of that committee? 4 of coins. They're not. It would be restricted. It doesn't look like it. They don't want them out there. Justice, the Hermit, the Six of Wands, the Queen of Wands. There could be some limited testimony that will be out there that folks will want. And they might have to do it just to show that the victims were talked to. Justice and victory. Yeah, maybe some get in there, but I think it's more they're going to really restrict it so that the story doesn't get out. Probably, not in this Congress at this time will that information get out. Because the problem with their testimonies, it's going to look poorly on Ghislaine Maxwell. And then it might impact her ability to get the best deal that she can get. And maybe that's one of the compromises. We'll see what kind of deal is put out there. What happens with Ghislaine Maxwell after she testifies? Does she leave the country? Does she fall out of a tall window? Generally speaking, what's the energy with her after her testimony? This is kind of that moment. If you want to look at, if we're going to metagame here and take the 30,000 foot view, this is that opportunity. I got the moon card here for her to reveal the secrets. This is the opportunity for her to come clean and do the right thing so that when she has her life review, she doesn't carry this with her. This is the opportunity to make things right. Again, integrity. What was my question now? I've lost my question. What happens next to her after this? 10 of Coins. Her legacy, but also could be going back to her life of luxury, whatever that is. She's not going back to prison. That's what that's telling me. There's a plan afoot. King of Wands, DOJ. It's whatever deal she makes with the DOJ. She's spoken and then... There's money here. I don't think she's going to perish. I think she's going to leave. Going back to the family. Going back to the life she had beforehand. Her socialite life. The DOJ would basically let her go. It's part of the plan. They'll go forward. And then she's going to keep her mouth shut. She will never speak of this again. She will probably go to the countryside and live out the rest of her life, maybe looking over her shoulder the whole time, but definitely looking for protection on this. I mean, let's put it this way. She's not going to be a crusader for child sex trafficking and rights for children and girls henceforth. I think she's just going to put her tail between her legs and leave and hope that she lives another 20 years in France and that we never hear from her again except when she dies of old age. That's kind of what I suspect is going to happen here. Spiritual message. Let's wrap it up with the spiritual message regarding the current situation they have with Ghislaine and her offer to testify in front of Congress. What is it? Or not a spiritual message. What else would Spirit like us to know about this? What else would Spirit like us to know about this? The World card. Things coming to a close. I'm going to do the full 7. And the downfall. Yeah, this is the downfall of Trump. And it's ongoing. It's going to be not only the downfall of Trump, it's going to be the downfall of many powerful people throughout the world. And this is just the beginning of this. Girls and people held hostage. The information's been held hostage, but now the empowerment of women is going to be set free. There's going to be a lot of data, a lot of evidence put out there. And when you have a poison bush, you're going to get poison fruit from it. You're going to see a diminishment in values. It's going to cause people to rethink their values, reevaluate what's going on here. And again, I think this is, treating women and girls like they're commodities that are supposed to be shipped overseas. The secrets are being revealed, and it involves not only folks in the government, but powerful people in powerful positions. It's a worldwide event. Reaping what you sow. We're going to bring not only Trump administration to a close, but a lot of people to a close. The women are untying themselves. The information's out there. It's going to be revealed, and it's going to impact not just the U.S. government, but governments around the world. And it's just going to keep going. This is kind of like one of those things that isn't a one and done. It's just going to be a constant reveal. The Prince Andrews of the world and such. And more people will get caught up into it. Or caught up in the web that they've been participating in. And accountability hopefully will follow with all of that. Thank you very much for watching this video and supporting my channel. I appreciate it. This reading is for entertainment purposes only, but I hope you found it insightful, and I'll catch you on the next video. Take care.